as I go across the world, and mostly I devote my life to empowering communities, especially in our beloved nation, I think about what have I learned along the way. And so I start from that beginning moment when I went away to college. The truth is that I want to get as close as I can to you. Can you see me? Thank you. I think about being born and raised en el Rincón del Diablo. I come from a place, a neighborhood, back then was the poorest city in the United States. And it bothered me that we were known for those things. We were known because we were the heroin corridor to the world. That the only shiny, nice-looking cars were of the drug dealers coming into my community to exploit us, to condemn us. I think about all of the suffering that went on in my little village and feeling helpless at times, wanting to make a difference. I didn't know that my language would be the first demon I had to conquer. That my not speaking English would put me into a dark world while I went to school. I loved school. I didn't think it would not love me back. I remember that my father, that immigrant from Monterrey, Nuevo León, who would take me across back and forth. And I remember him telling me to never forget that I was the American dream. Tú eres el sueño americano. And I thought, wow, that must be awesome. I didn't know. I was young, too young to comprehend that his sacrifice, my mother's sacrifice, their journey, and what they did to live with so little, but yet did so much. So on the screen, you will see my first teachers. There's my mommy and my papi. So I always like to give them my respects. Jefita, gracias. Aunque usted y yo, pues no nos entendimos a veces. I love you, Mom, even though you and I, we didn't always get along. Papi, mi líder, mi héroe, mi maestro, my hero, and my teacher. I miss you, old man. Thank you for teaching me to love Mom. Yes, I had to learn that several times. But I love you both. May you both rest in peace. What do I mean by that? The struggles between mothers and daughters. Understand there might be a program here that is trying to enrich the lives of mothers and daughters. And growing up the way I did, I didn't understand so many things, but yet I was the most curious kid in the whole village. Have you ever been one of those kids? How many of you are willing to admit that you were the why kid? Your parents would tell you, and you would go, and why? And they said, because it's important for you. Why? And about the 10th why, they would just say, because. And still, as you were running away, go, oh, you still didn't tell me why. Right? I was that kid. I was curious, but I didn't understand what could be the issue with my teachers and me and my curiosity. And later I learned that I could have possibly even had ADD. And I didn't understand all these labels, LEP, ELL, at risk, economically disadvantaged. I was like, oh my God. So when a teacher addressed me, I said, which one you talking to? Because I have so many for you to pick from. I'm that special. But you know, when I didn't know what I didn't know, which is why I devote my life today to living a legacy of opening minds and hopefully touching hearts for people to look at people for who they are. Not for what they have, who they know, but who they are as individuals. So growing up, I'm thinking, well, I'm the American dream. My father said so. I'm sure that my teacher got the memo. Right? So when I speak about social justice, and why today I'm still very much an activist. I remember 6 years old. I'm in school, yo no entiendo inglés. The only word I knew in English was okay. I still today, that's my getaway word, okay, right? But I knew a girl named Ida. And Ida was neither English or Spanish proficient. She was what I call Spanglish. But Ida was my window through the world to see, to hear, to learn, because I lived in darkness. When they spoke this other beautiful language, I didn't know, I didn't understand. But Ida and I had to negotiate, right? So I didn't know what to do. I said, and I'm a street kid, right? Coming from the barrios. I just shared with you where I'm from. So I went up to Ida. And she didn't understand I was going to hustle. I said, órale, you speak English? And she goes, yes, I do. Y yo le dije, órale, pues, tú me ayudas. She goes, what? Help you? I said, yeah. And she said, well, what are you going to give me? And that's when the hustle took place, right? I said, mira, what do you have in there in that ugly-looking box? You see, you start off with negative psychology, right? Right? You know what I mean? You start messing with people. And she goes, oh, it's not ugly. It's my pink lunchbox. Y dije, está feo. She said, why are you so mean? Le dije, no. Okay. She opened her lunchbox. She took out this white bread with something called ham. And I was like, wow, that's really bad stuff. We do horrible. She goes, what? You're just so mean. I said, no, mira. I have something better for you, mejor. She goes, you do? What do you have? See, that's the curiosity. That's the hustle. So she opened her brown bag. I opened my little brown bag that my mommy had recycled. And, we were into recycling. You're a little slow, but you're catching on. Okay? I mean, we are the founders of so many things in my barrio. I mean, you have no idea, okay? First of all, we put cardboard in our shoes. Dr. Schultz owes us royalties. Come on, let's get real, right? I didn't know that I ate from the ground. Now they call it Whole Foods. What's up with that? My mother would cure us with her herbs or hierbas. Now it's called alternative holistic healing. Doesn't that sound like fufu? Right? Come on, IKEA? IKEA had no idea. We created the multi-purpose room. Come on, let's get real. Right? When you live in 2 rooms, you got 10 people? Man, IKEA's got nothing. And we're the originators of the container store. Except that we use butter. Right? And so I think about the innovation and the creativity, but, you are the leaders of tomorrow. And what do I mean by this story? Is how you see yourself is what determines how far you go. And I want you to see yourself wherever you come from, whatever you've had to deal with, okay? It doesn't determine how the story ends. It's just a chapter in your life. Because if you went by what they saw when I was 6, ADD, I had a mom with mental illness, their combined income was $400 a month, and the list goes on. Then somebody would have predicted, this is a research university, that kid is never going to make it. Just write her off. Statistically, that would have been perhaps accurate. But I'm not a number. I have a name, and so do you. So I ask you today to step into who you are and embrace all of who you are. But I went to school, and Ida, remember the brown bag? Finally, Ida got to the moment of the hustle. She said, so what's in it? And I took out a papas con huevo taco. I know, Taco Bell owes us money too. They all owe us money, right? And she ate the whole papa con huevo taco, and now they call it quality control. And there went my entire meal for the day. And I said, ahora sí. And she said, that was delicious. Y le dije, there went my meal. And then she said, okay, yo te ayudo, I help you. But mañana, I go, what about mañana? What about tomorrow? She goes, 2 tacos. She had a bigger hustle than I did. Right? Well, today she retired as a bilingual ed teacher after 40 years of teaching, and I jokingly say that she's still a member of Weight Watchers, thanks to me. Because she said, do you really say that all over the world? I go, yeah, I give you credit. She said, you are horrible. But in other words, one of the greatest secrets to life is to have a sense of humor. Laugh at yourself. Laugh with others. But never laugh at people. Laugh with life, you know? I've had so many funny experiences in my lecture series that I would have you literally thinking I'm a comedian. But I'm here as well to give you some serious words about legacy and leadership. But I get to school, and I realize that I'm learning English, not fast enough, and my teacher says the magical moment of my life. She said, class, I look at Aida. Today you're going to show me you have been learning your letters. You're going to write your name on the board. Dije, a la fregada. Dije, ¿qué dijo la doña? And all Aida could tell me was this. Nombre. Ah, mi nombre. Okay. So, you know, in my culture, there is God, there's your parents, and guess who's third? The teacher. That's how much power they have. So I'm waiting for my teacher, and my teacher says my name. I didn't even let the poor woman finish. Presente, maestra, para servirle! And I run up to her, and I'm just thinking I hit the lottery. And she's not impressed. And she said, young lady, now you're going to look at me right now. And immediately I acted out of my norms. And as a Mexicana, Chicana, all I could think is, oh, she's not happy, so I'm going to cast my eyes down. And so she grabbed me by the jaw. And she said, from now on, you will look at me. And today, you're going to learn the first lesson of your life. Your name now is Connie. Dije, ¿cómo? No. Dije, yo no conozco ninguna Connie. And I walked away from her. You don't do that to a teacher. And not when you're 6 years old. Well, needless to say, she wasn't impressed. She grabbed me by the arm. She took me to her desk. And she started to write this long, long note to the principal. And she went on and on and on, and she was on and on and on. And then she did this. And then she grabbed the stapler, and she went click, 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 like if I could read. I have handled multi-billion-dollar, highest classified clearances in the world. I've never had that kind of high-level security. Most of my government has trusted me. Okay, and I've been on some really crazy stuff. Let's just leave it at that. Okay? And so immediately I began to sense a disconnect, that my teacher didn't care. She didn't understand. And that's why I'm so honored and feel so blessed to be here with your success program, your first generation program, because you are truly the freedom fighters. You are those silent heroes that listen intuitively, purposely, insightfully, and with dignity. So every student that has a need, a question, or feels some pain. And so you, the coaches, and what you've done here at Arizona State is make the world better. Give yourselves a big hand. You've made it better. Because I don't know. Well, I was sent to the principal's office, okay? A kid like me got set in front of the school. I was put on a chair to sit down so all the students could taunt me and make fun of me. But I'm a street kid. I'm going to go one up on them. I decided to make it my stage. So all the kids like, hey, what's up? See how special I am? Only I get to see the principal. You don't. See, it's called survivorship. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You're going to get into classes, courses, professors, experiences in your life. And you got to be your number one cheerleader, folks. You got to believe that while you're here is because somebody else paid that debt for you already. And you can't go back because of some little thing that happened in this big thing called life. You have got to go past that grade that you say you may argue you didn't deserve. You got to get past that lecture you didn't understand. You got to get past whatever the whoever dumped you and told you you were whatever. You know what? They don't define you. And most of all, they're not going to pay your bills. So let's get real. You've got to get past those storms. Well, I got past the big storm, my principal. You know, I love her. I think she's still around. But she didn't know how to communicate, you know, and she started speaking phonetically. She started like this. What? Y dije a la fregada, I'm learning the wrong English. Man, that's the way you speak English. I'll never get it. And she finally asked me, why didn't I like Connie? That Connie was less letters. And that's when the sense of who you are, you can never mortgage or put a for sale sign. It was with those tears in my eyes that I said to her at 6 years old, Mrs. Treviño, no me quite mi nombre, que es mi herencia. Please don't take my name. It is my heritage. Es quien soy yo. Y de dónde vengo, no lo puedo negar. It is who I am, and I am to never, never deny where I come from. And so today, I see a very diverse audience. But I can tell you that as a veteran, you learn very quickly when you're in somebody else's backyard. I see my brother here. Some may say he's white. What I see is he would have my back, and I would have his. And yet we are here talking about how different we are. But I guarantee you, we don't need a war to go in somebody else's backyard and have my brother and I, they only see one thing. You're American, and I'm an American. What we need to do is import peace. Be able to have these conversations. That the color of your skin, your gender, whatever, doesn't mean that I must impose my will upon you. But it is who you are as I give you my hand. And I kiss you. That you know I love you just the way you are. It is upon me to cross that line of trust and to ask of you, are you with me on this journey? And as students, we need more of that. We don't need to be divided. We don't need to create a sort of hysteria. about how some people are more dangerous than others? Because ugly comes in every form and shape, does it not? So let us start here today, this afternoon.